What's going on, guys? Just Smash 22 here, and I haven't made a video in quite a few days. I've been a little bit busy with school and stuff. So I'm just gonna do a review of a movie I just saw a little while ago called Wreck-It Ralph. Now, it's been out for about a week, and I wanted to do a review immediately after I saw it, which was, I guess, on the 2nd, but I've been kind of busy, as I said, so I'm gonna just get into it right now. I'm just gonna say this: it's a really good movie. Wreck-It Ralph basically exceeded my expectations. I thought it was just gonna be a bunch of explosions and stuff, like how a lot of video games are, and it just, from the execution to the concept of the story itself, it's just really good. Honestly, this was a movie that I'd always dreamed of, but never thought would happen. It's easy to see that a lot of hype was built up for this movie, but I think a lot of that hype was coming from the fact that a lot of fan favorite video game characters were appearing. While I did appreciate these characters were in it, I was also kind of thinking about the original characters. That's kind of what's important to me, like Wreck-It Ralph or Fix-It Felix. I'm willing to bet that a lot of people went to see this simply because their favorite character was in it, and pretty much that's their only reason. So, I'm willing to bet that just happened. So, um, a lot. The purpose of these characters was not just nostalgia, but also to cater to gamers in a way. There's no shame in that as long as it's pretty much in moderation, but again, I'd like to emphasize that is not the point. The use of these characters was not just a marketing strategy, it was just part of the movie's theme: video games, and video game arcades in particular. And by using arcades, it's going to attract older audiences because arcades were a way of gaming a long time ago. They're kind of dying nowadays. So, see, that's the genius here. Both older and younger audiences should have something to recognize in this film, whether it's the old or the new characters. And that's kind of reminiscent in what Wreck-It Ralph is. The whole Wreck-It Ralph arcade game in this, it's kind of reminding you of Donkey Kong, the original arcade one. Now, let's talk about the story. Wreck-It Ralph is a villain in a game called Fix-It Felix Jr., where Fix-It Felix is the hero. Ralph has been forced to be the villain in this game for ages, and when the 30-year anniversary of the Fix-It Felix Jr. arcade game comes up, Ralph begins to realize that he's been in the shadow of Fix-It Felix for a long time, because he's pretty much the villain. And Felix gets medals and fame since he's pretty much the hero. Now in the game, Felix and Ralph are enemies, but their actual relationship outside the game is kind of awkward, as Felix kind of feels sorry for Ralph, and Ralph kind of wants to be like Felix, to be the hero, to get the fame, and pretty much to get the medals. So a little later, Ralph meets a soldier from a different game, since in this movie you can game jump and characters meet other characters. They kind of connect through the chords of the arcade. And so Ralph meets this soldier from this other arcade game called Hero's Duty. It's kind of reminds you of a kind of has a mix of Call of Duty and Halo. Anyways, this soldier says that it's possible to get a medal at the end of Hero's Duty once you beat the game, pretty much. So Ralph basically wants to show it off to the characters and fix it Felix Jr. so that he can be treated like a hero. So later on, he does get a medal from Hero's Duty, but he winds up in this kart racing game called Sugar Rush and meets this character named Vanellope, who is a glitch character. Now, Vanellope is actually one of the best parts of this movie, and because of being a glitch character, it just adds a ton of stuff to the story, and she's actually one of the best characters in this show, and I think you can get past her kind of annoying voice because she's just a really cute character, and the bond between her and Ralph is just really touching. And every main character has a place in this movie. There's like they don't overdevelop or underdevelop any characters more than they need to. Now, some might call Ralph a ripoff of Megamind or Gru from Despicable Me, but Ralph is much different. He's only a villain in his game when the game isn't being played by kids in the arcade. He's a quick-tempered, kind of a big-hearted character. And John C. Reilly does a really good job of voicing Ralph, making him sound sort of like an everyman. There are also quite a few messages that the movie gives, like just to help relate to the audience. I've overheard some people saying that animated movies you can't relate to them, but you gotta look at the messages. So Wreck-It Ralph has messages like accepting yourself but making sacrifices to better yourself or help people around you, or everyone has a place in the world even if you're unhappy in the moment, or simple ones like when the going gets tough, the tough get going. That's just to name a few. Now, I think there is potential for a sequel, maybe even a franchise. You see, only 3 game worlds from the arcade were in the movie: Fix-It Felix Jr., Hero's Duty, and Sugar Rush. Those were the only 3 shown, which means that there could be a whole lot more ideas up in the air. Maybe introduce some new ones in a sequel if possible, and I think that there is enough material for it. I'm usually against sequels sometimes, but Wreck-It Ralph was so good that I think a sequel would be good. Now, Wreck-It Ralph just succeeds where other Disney computer animated films have failed, like Chicken Little or Meet the Robinsons. They were just okay. This is the best Disney computer animated film I've seen. It just delivers sincere emotion, a convincing storyline. It's not just the best animated film of 2012, it's good enough to be compared with Pixar's best. It's a must-see for just about anybody, not just gamers. So I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. So I think you guys should come see it and just watch it. You'll love it. It's been out about a week. I think you'll like it. See you guys.